Oh. Okay, I think we're going to have to work on getting this meeting going. So. What do I have to say to get things going? Do we need a
You're going to call the meeting to order at whatever the time is.
call the meeting to order?
And Chairman Rob Miller, Vice Chairman Sherman Jackson,
Here.
Commissioner J. Tuck Steinreich, Commissioner Kendall Smith, Commissioner Helen Ferguson, Commissioner Job Silva, Commissioner Stephen Avila, Commissioner Sal Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas Mitchell.
Here. Okay, so what do we have on this? Okay. Do we have anybody that's, in the public comment section? Anybody has something to say? I
Chairman,
think we do.
Commissioner, we probably want to go through the minutes from the previous
Oh,
meeting.
the minutes, right.
Yeah, we need a motion and a second, please.
Has everybody had a chance to check out the minutes? Basically, it's in report. Get a motion to accept it? Vote. All in favor, eh? Aye. There it is. Okay, now, public comment, sorry.
Hi, I'm Annie Niemer. I'm speaking for Alicia Williams. She was unable to be here tonight. She read an article about golden mussels being in the Delta and is wondering what they're doing, or is this county looking into that yet? That's it.
I haven't heard of anything. I saw a post where they found them in the aqueduct, too. Yeah, the California aqueduct, they're finding them, so. It sounds like a pretty pervasive, invasive species. And what happened, are you all familiar with the mussels? Okay, they go everywhere, and they end up clogging pumps and causing massive expenses. You know, not good for your boats when you suck them up either. That's why we're stopped at the Oregon border.
So are you seeing details of this occurring here in the area?
Alicia Williams just asked me to, Ms. Williams just asked me to ask you what the council is doing about the golden mussels for our county. I don't know anything. Sorry.
Not the same as the mussels that we have, that we got now.
Oh, the snail, no. That would actually probably be Fish and Game's or Fish and Wildlife's purview, you know. Yeah, because that's a statewide issue, not just here. And I don't know that individual counties address that. Yeah. Yeah, it's all fish and wildlife stuff is what I've seen.
This is all regarding just the golden mussel, right?
Golden mussel.
Yeah, and I haven't heard anything lately on that. I mean, I guess we can ask and see.
Yeah. Well, people do bring their boats from other areas of the state here, but that's ocean. I don't know if the saltwater, how they do well in saltwater, or if they're just a freshwater phenomena. Okay. One more thing to worry about. Okay, do we have anybody with any kind of report? No. As on the public comment stuff, I'd like to say, did anybody else attend the Elk Creek drainage meeting at the fairgrounds? Anybody know about it? Yeah, I figured. It's kind of interesting. It could improve the fishery locally too. Oh, is that what they're talking about? No. at our fairgrounds, there was a meeting, there's a group of people, probably called Friends of the Elk Creek Drainage, but that are getting together to get the drainage back to normal.
That's the creek that goes right across the highway there.
Yeah, that whole drainage channel needs to be torn out and redone.
Oh, yeah, years ago when
They're still fishing it.
oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, Jim was with us when we were at the meeting where the warden said
I've
they
seen lots
pulled
of
out
shopping
2
carts and
gill
crap
nets
in there.
from there. So, well, and that's the biggest thing. They kept beating around the bush, and finally, several of us brought up the fact that you can't do anything until you do something about all those people living there. Anyway, there's that. The other thing is, does anybody know Rudy Lopez works for the Tolowa tribe? No. I was down at Lakeview this morning, and he drove up with somebody else in his truck with an official truck, and he said the Tolowa is just checking the levels of the lake and stuff. So, anybody heard anything? No, about Tolowa Nation getting some interest in the lake. Okay. But I just asked. Okay. Anything on public lands? I don't think, do we have any, we didn't have anybody bringing back a report or anything this time, did we? Nobody has signed anything. Didn't think so. Any public lands issues? Federal, state? Private lands? I always look at you. Did they get the tires fixed on that tractor? Because I see it moved. So another 10 years in place, they'll replace them again? That is it. Okay. What's going on with the elk?
Yeah, we're at about 75% on our filling of our tags, and it's going pretty good. They almost got a cow down at Hambros tonight. There was a lot of in there. And last week, our side, we got a couple of bulls and cow. So it's going. Not so much. One of the older bulls that we had, it wasn't evident, but there's a whole herd that's over on the PLM now that the elk can hardly walk.
Oh, boy.
I asked again, because the biologist was up for our orientation on Friday, and she made some comment about the dairies being noted for foot rot, which is true, but cattle usually go through like a sulfur foot bath, which obviously the elk don't. And so that begged the question again. I asked her, well, when are you going to test some of the cattle with the hoof rot to see if it is the same? And so she said they hadn't been directed to do it. And I said, well, you're the lead biologist, so maybe you ought to kind of promote that test. That wouldn't be that difficult to do. And all we got to do is put our cows in a squeeze chute and have them scrape them and be able to see. Personally, I don't think they want to find out.
Yeah. My understanding is that they pulled all the equipment out. Excuse me. The dune removal equipment out of the grass of the area because of the seasonal wetness.
I doubt that was it.
Yeah.
I mean,
how did they get them in there? Did they go through?
They went through, you could see, it was Sunberg truck and flatbed that was there with the excavator or whatever you call it that they had out there. And then they went in right at the end of the public roads at the end of Pacific Shores.
Oh.
We happened to
so
be
they
out
went
there.
across the breach site.
Huh?
They went across the breach
Yeah.
site.
Yeah, we were out there on a elk orientation, just accidentally ran into it.
Huh.
And then they burned a bunch of it.
Yeah.
And I guess they were scratching around doing something, I don't know. But
They were
no,
burying it,
well,
Frank told me.
that, I don't think that'll work. That's just my personal opinion.
Pretty hard to
Yeah. I personally feel, and I've expressed this many times, is that they need to spray it so that it gets down in the roots and
Only way you're
then
gonna kill that
burn it.
stuff.
Because it's just like a whole network of roots. You can't kill it.
like bamboo.
Yep. But, you know, I would like to have this commission do a public records request. I'd be happy to write it, of how much money that they've spent out there and how many square acres of grass that they have. I'm sure it's well up into the millions. Kind of expose it.
Only really,
What's that? Oh, they aren't planting anything that I know of. No, nothing to grow in there anyway. That's the whole purpose of the European beach grass. That's historically, you know where Kellogg Road is. Frank B. Kellogg was worked for the U.S. Forest Service, and he was hired to stabilize the dunes in southern Oregon and northern California. That's how that beach grass got here, and because there's nothing else that'll grow there, and that was the purpose of it. And when they take it out, I guess they want the sand dunes to spill into the lake. I don't know. They don't know. That's the problem. There's nothing else that'll grow there. Yeah.
Anything on Lake Earl? I know you've been,
There was a phone call that we were on about a month ago with Sacramento, and
the Zoom meeting.
so in that phone call, the Fish and Wildlife folks said that they don't have the money to do a study that would study the water quality or where the lake levels would have to be. And they would not do that study because they don't have the money. So they have at least 4 endangered species plans that they're doing as wildlife on the lake. One, pulver, goby fish, western lily, and the butterfly. And then there's actually, they don't even know if the goby is even alive in the lake at this time, because no one has, they lost their studies or whatever, and the salmon are completely gone. And the steelhead are probably likely gone too. I haven't seen any in the creek at my house, so I don't know if anyone else
It'd
has
just
seen
be
any.
cutthroats.
I
don't
think there's
know of any-
cutthroat, but
have
there's,
people been catching them?
no, nobody's fishing in the
there's
creek.
a lot of trout in that lake. Like,
So-
there's a lot of good.
Well, there's a lot of fish in the lake.
So I've been fishing online, and what I get online is that if the state doesn't provide a plan and the county doesn't provide a plan, the state could actually come back and sue the county for not having a plan. So there's no plan in place except for emergency breaching of the lake when the lake gets too high. That's not a plan. That's just a function of the county for the safety and welfare of the people who live around the lake. It's not a plan, though. So I believe that as the Fish and Wildlife Commission, we can provide a plan that historically addresses the level of the lake and the possibly even use some of the salinity sampling that's been coming out from the duck hunters and write a plan and put it in place, and the County Board of Supervisors approve it. And there's no real addition in money or anything because the county already pays for the breaching, but we go to Army Corps of Engineers for permission when we do the breaching. But the county still sends our tractors out and our trailers and does the breaching. So It's not like a huge expense or anything, but if we together a plan and have the Board of Supervisors approve it, we can start managing the level of the lake. And I'm saying this plan doesn't take into account, do not take into account any of the wildlife or the species or anything. We just say this is where the lake historically is. And we have giant spruce that were 800 to 1,200 years old. And when the water levels went over 6 feet, those spruce groves died out. So we know that for 800 to 1,200 years, the levels of the lake were down there. We also know that the cemetery from the natives that was on the peninsula, when the water levels were allowed to go over 6 feet, the human remains were floating to the surface and lying on the ground when the lake was breached. We know from testimony that the Indians that were living in the village on the end of the peninsula breached the lake at 6 feet or lower, because that was when the village would become inundated with water, and they didn't live in water, they lived on the peninsula. So we can write a plan, we can do it historically at lake levels on the failure of the state to maintain the lake, and we can cite their failure as they have not considered water quality or the level of the lake in any of their endangered species studies that they're doing, and they have not taken into account the salinity or any of it. Our plan can be based on historical evidence, and we could even bring in the salinity levels from the duck hunters. And I believe that we could have the Board of Supervisors approve it. We can put it in place, and the county could then start acting, still getting permission within our plan, permission from the Army Corps of Engineers if that has to be done. So the state knows that we're going to breach. But I believe that authority can be in the county, and we can do that. But we have to start that ball rolling. I mean, I don't know if we need to check with community development with Heidi or not, Ms. Kunsel, or who we would need to talk to, but I think that the plan is viable and that we should do that. I don't think that the plan coming out in 2026 is going to address lake levels or anything. They're going to address the current wildlife planning that they have in place. And they basically admit that plan is not going to have that because they're not going to do the study for water quality on the lake. So I believe that falls to this commission to provide a plan to the Board of Supervisors for the county to act on.
That's always been in the works, and as a county plan, we do have the right to do that. But one interesting and I think positive thing is in our Grange property out there, last week or week before, we ran into a park ranger a couple of times, and we've been talking to him. And in conversation, he is the one that's in charge as far as the California State Parks for the sandgrass removal and also for the snowy plover. And so I began to ask him what his credentials were and where he got them. And it turns out that he has no credential whatsoever. He's not a botanist and knows nothing about it. So that is positive, because every one of us then can become experts. If he's an expert doing that and he does not, he openly said, because I asked him, what degree do you have? And he doesn't have one.
He's not
Just works in the park?
It's been there for like you, or expert.
All of us here are better experts than this guy
I mean,
was.
20 years ago,
What's that?
20 years ago, the lake was body health here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's because it rarely got halfway up the road.
Yeah. And all of
And
that,
now it's like it's dying. It's been that way for several years now.
Yeah.
And there's no duck weed out there hardly anymore, is there?
well,
No,
we
it was a good
need,
year for duckweed this year.
Finally.
what we need to do is get the documentation from Dr. David Lauk from Humboldt. I think I can probably still get my hands on that. And all their studies, when he used to bring all the people up from Humboldt, pointed towards the management of the lake at 4 foot. When it got 6 foot, they breached it, is the way that it was. And so now, I mean, that to me, I found that very disturbing for the person that's in charge of the sandgrass removal, and the snowy plover to say he's not credentialed. I give him credit
Well,
for
I don't
saying it.
understand. He's responsible for that, but he has no background
He has
regarding
no
that?
credential,
What-
period.
What's his background? Why, is he like somebody's cousin? Is that how he got that
Humboldt State.
position?
Yeah, he went to Humboldt for a while.
He didn't have a degree, she said.
No, he doesn't. And so I think we need to,
So that's another issue is that when the lake breaches at 11 feet, it blows out all that snowy plover habitat. I mean, so
There used to be a lot of
you would
little
think that
buildings
they
here
would
too,
want to
you
keep
go
the lake
to.
there
lower.
still is.
But
Snowy Plover, I think, is a thing made up, in my opinion.
did you guys
pretty
notice
common.
all the pelicans this year?
Yeah,
I went out one day, there had to have been 2,000 between Palawa
Yeah.
and the main lake. Well, yeah, I mean, Bazzini, they're all, and all the way up to Kellogg if they've been water.
I asked, frogs or what?
Well, they're feeding,
I mean, there's food there. for
and,
pelicans.
plenty of cormorants too, a lot of cormorants, so there's always,
yeah.
I haven't been out there.
yeah, they're pretty busy.
Like, I see
I
it's real quiet.
think we ought to look into it, and
We gotta,
maybe you're the persons that looked at it the most, so why don't we,
Pretty volunteer.
yeah. There is language in the county empowerment. I keep going back to that. Do you have it? In the county empowerment that says we can write our own plan, and our board has already passed it.
So I got I went on the internet and did some quick searching today, and I was going to stop at the legal office to ask them how they interpret it. But the way I interpret what's online, it says, yes, a county in California can and must act because the authority and responsibility to conduct local planning is designated to cities and counties by state law. Okay, so if we're planning, making a plan to do management of an area, it falls to the county to do that plan.
Right.
I mean, they can come in and study the lake all they want, and they can make designated areas to do whatever, but the planning for the water and the quality of the water and that has to be done at the county. And I think it's either a forcing mechanism to regain control of our resources, or it's a forcing mechanism that forces the state to spend the money to actually do the studies that are actually say, this is where the health of the lake has to be to support all of these endangered species.
Well, just like what I had originally said when you and I had talked, I don't think we need to go back and ask the county, hey, can we do this? The county's already voted that we can do this.
I agree.
I mean, so it's not like we have to go back and ask them.
No, we don't have to ask. I'm not saying we ask.
No,
I say
I'm
we
just
submit a
saying-
plan to the Board of Supervisors.
I'm just saying, don't open this can of worms because they've already voted that we can write our own county plan.
Yeah,
So
but-
let's do it.
well, we need to, yeah, that's, then we need to step up and do that.
But the question is do we submit the plan to the Board of Supervisors, or do we go submit the plan to community development?
Well, community development is through what all of that goes through, yeah.
So initially I'm thinking because we're a commission from the Board of Supervisors,
Right.
we would submit our plan to them and they would hand it to community
give it
development
to
for
both of
them
them.
to review.
Give it to
Is
both
that
of them.
right?
They've already given permission for someone in the county to write the plan.
I'm just,
I know, I'm just saying. So, yeah, we'll give them a copy and give the development,
when I go to put the addressing on the plan for the review, I mean, do you include the Board of Supervisors
Of
and
course.
community development? That's what we
course.
need. So I just want,
yeah.
I just want a consensus of our
Yeah.
commission.
And all the things that you mentioned that they talked about was half-witted Tetra Tech report that they wrote on obsolete material in order to justify putting the lake at the level it was. That would be the way to put it.
I agree. I mean, I go back to the studies that were done as far back as in the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
and every study that was done, for some reason, there's up to the 6 foot level, and then there's a blank between 6 and 8 feet, and there's nothing done at that water level at all, and then it's over 8 feet. So
No,
it was, there was no benefits or detriments that were discussed.
Yeah. If you look up the Lake Earl Management Plan, it would have been like in the 70s, towards the end of the 70s. A guy by the name of Gary Monroe, he worked for the California Fish and Game. He wrote the management plan for the lake for the 4 to 6 foot level. And so we could probably get that and use that as a starting point. He committed suicide. Very nice man.
I'll try to
Have you
find
seen
it.
the lake lately, have you? Have you seen the lake in the last few days? Okay. The gauging system says it's at 3.24 feet.
So you can,
Yeah. Well, no, what I'm saying is the gauging system is way off because it's over 4 foot.
so you can go on NOAA's website and you can see our lake levels.
Yeah.
Well,
And it was
what the gauging
2.4
says-
feet when it started at the summer, and that was the lowest level, and it seems to maintain that level for whatever
2.4.
reason.
Well, it doesn't
The
reach any
seepage
lower
that
than
goes
that.
through the dunes or whatever, and the water coming in the creek is about even at 2.4 feet, and then the rains come, and today, it's at 3 feet.
Well, it says
3.18
3.24.
feet.
Yeah, but it's not. It's over 4 feet. Go down and look at it.
Oh,
The-
it's
the
way
whole-
over.
the bottom of
it's
Lake-
way over 4
Lake
feet.
View.
Well, so I'll look on there tomorrow or next week, and the date will be updated, maybe.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
yeah, because the turnaround at the end of Lakeview is
Yeah,
totally
but,
underwater.
I mean, I had 4 inches of rain 2 nights ago,
Yeah.
so I mean.
Yeah, and it's still raining. It hasn't rained, in a couple of days, and it's coming up every day. So, good.
Whatever the last rain was, 4 inches.
I would recommend maybe if you find Gary Monroe's report, because that would be the starting point, and that was written by their own staff, and we can feed off of that, and then maybe bring that back to the next meeting. Do some work
Yeah,
on it.
look,
but
I have one from 1975, and maybe that's it. I don't know.
that might be it. That's probably
Yeah,
it.
I didn't look at the author of it or who
Uh-huh.
contributed, so I know that one has a lot of really good information in it, so.
Well, I'll make a motion that we start to write a county management plan for the lake.
I think everybody agreed? Aye.
We'll all help. Won't we?
About it. Oh, you-
Yep. It would smell like sulfur. Yep.
So if we're going to put it together, I don't know if I can go to community development and ask them for an outline plan, or do we just put something together that's historical background? Like a standard plan would be put together. You have background history, and then you have supporting documentation, conclusion, summary, and recommendations.
If you get that plan, and then we'll get a copy of the CEQA,
See,
CEQA, and we can, you can file a negative deck on it. It would be the way to go, because we're going back to the historic management of the lake.
ask the county is what you're
No.
saying?
No, we're not going to ask anybody.
No, I don't. The
What?
CEQA, what is that?
CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act.
Oh,
Every
okay,
every
right.
plan has to go through that, in theory. But you can also file a negative declaration, and that's probably the avenue that we should take, because we are going back to something that has been historically proven to be good.
So do we need to do that if it's a county plan?
Yeah. That's all you're going to do is file a negative deck. And so we'll get a copy of it, though, so that we'll know as we go along how to word stuff, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, I I actually wanted our legal involved so that if there is pushback at the state level, our legal can go, well, if you're not doing that, then all of these 4 endangered species plans are void because you don't know water quality and lake level. I mean, if the lake level's too high, there's no lilies,
Right.
there's no butterflies, there's no goby, there's nothing.
And there never has been the western pond lily there ever. The western pond lily is in the south marsh of Crescent City, because we did a 4-H project there with goats, clearing out for the western pond lily with David Empire, who's the head of the California Native Plant Society. But there's no western pond lilies.
So, but I thought that, I maybe skewed my memory, but I thought there was a map that was put out and said that there was western lily habitat on the northwest
Not
end
that,
of the lake.
not that we knew of at the time when we were doing it. Maybe
'Cause
somebody
I thought they
planted
were
some.
claiming that as habitat for western lily. So that's,
Ponds on the state parkland there. Pond. I've never. Lake,
Oh, you mean you're talking off of Kellogg Road, those ponds?
yeah, the pond,
the Twalawa
not
side.
an actual lake.
I mean, going up north.
So, Palace the ponds
Yeah,
off
I
of
mean,
Palace
Yeah.
Ponds
Yeah.
there. Yeah, they have.
So,
But that doesn't have anything to do with the lake
Never
level.
Right.
lake, I've
No.
never-
and our plan doesn't have to address any of that.
No.
So,
There's one thing I've been thinking about is, nobody brings up the fact that when cattle were grazing down there, on the bottom there, below your place, and down by Brown's and stuff, and up where the old barn was off of Lower Lake Road, there used to be a lot of cattle there. The birds went in and used that area a lot.
oh, yeah.
Now I know, because I'm told by everybody in the state, that cattle are bad. Besides their farting,
So,
I just, it's, you can keep them out of waterways. I think it was pretty well demonstrated out at Palace Slough area when they had cattle running out on the parks. They had electrical fences around and they didn't get in the water.
Yeah, well, fencing really isn't a concern anymore, because now they just they have those little tags they can put on their necks.
Well, it
And-
zaps them.
And actually, what's even better than that, they're coming out with a little button that you can snap in their ear. And then everything is done electronically. You look on your computer and you can move your cattle without any fences. And then as soon as they get in that zone, it zaps them just like an electric fence.
Huh.
So fences are going to become obsolete.
Wow.
So one of the other things is going on these endangered species and everything. Anywhere else you go in the Pacific Northwest, and not just California, it's Oregon and Washington, the salmon is the keystone species, and they hype the salmon so hard, and yet when the salmon, they can't even tell us, when the salmon were extinct out of Lake Earl, all those nutrients that are coming in from the ocean that are feeding all of these other species is missing for at least 2 decades now that I know of. And those nutrients are gone. So there may be no way to bring the lake completely back, for these endangered species, because they count on the nutrients of the dead salmon going into the water. And when you're talking 3,000 or 14,000 salmon going into that lake, right, and rotting, that's a lot of nutrients that are missing. So I don't want to address any of that in our plan. I just want to have that in our back pocket to go, okay, if the state does come back, we can say, here's all the things that are detrimental that you need to study before you even come back to the county and tell us to not breach the lake. All right, my horse.
Okay, there's Lake Earl. Junior pheasant hunt, I don't think.
Yeah,
there's anything on that.
I do have something for that. One of our elk hunters that was up here 2 weeks ago, he was here the first time when we had the pheasant hunt. And he talked a little bit about, how great it was for the kids to all get involved. And so he's donating $1,000 to the Grange 501c3 to help with the elk hunt. And then the other thing that kind of ties into this, I want to say it's mid-December, 3 of the Fish and Game guys that have been involved a lot in the youth programs and the curriculum that the Fish and Game has developed for use in the school system. They're going to be up here, and we're going to meet with the superintendent from Humboldt County, superintendent of schools, probably the assistant superintendent from Humboldt, and our superintendent, and maybe our assistant. Mitch Jones has had a lot of help coordinating that, and we're going to meet and try and get that implemented in our school system. They can do things like get their hunter education class in school. They can get biology credit, and they can get physical education credit, much like what we used to do with Ag in the Classroom and through FFA. And Don Steinrich here, he ran the Ag in the Classroom, which is very similar to this for years, and it was great. And this is a volunteer program where different people go in and do this. And I think it'd be a great thing for the kids here in the community. It could be from frog watching, bird watching, to getting their hunting license, to whatever. But the curriculum is already approved for California. And they did it, also implemented it in Texas. And the Billy Daly was here last year on the elk hunt, and he is the head of it. He's from down in Bakersfield. But 3 of the guys that kind of put this program together, all 3 of them will be here. And so we're kind of excited about
Now,
that.
is this going to be a public meeting?
No, this is just to get it in. This is what the school superintendents to get it in.
Because knowing what I know about a lot of the people here, there's going to be a lot of pushback. On the other hand, this county should be
Well,
really accepted.
here's the thing. Whenever you go to do anything in the school system,
Oh, yeah.
so long as it's already approved, it is already approved by the state of California as approved curriculum.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage that we have. It's not something new that's going to come in. And several places in the southern part of the state have it in place. So it's not like we have to go through. It's already approved. And the Grange is going back a few years ago when Brian and Ron Placetti went to the school district, and the Grange is on the advisory board for any curriculum that we may want to question, and can meet with them for anything that they put in the school. So I think it's pretty smooth sailing, and our superintendent is very interested in it.
So is this going to be all the schools in Del Norte?
But the high school, wouldn't it?
No, it could be down in grade school. It could be like in the after-school program or something like this. And but then when you get more like the biology credit or something, then that might be a little bit more for the more advanced students. It's just like in FFA. Now we got it in just after I quit teaching there. You can get like chemistry and biology credit in FFA, and so. If we can get this going, and I mean, the hope would be that we could even get a class going in it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's great to be able to introduce new hunters and
Yeah.
bring them in and stuff.
Well,
I think it'd be a
it
good thing.
addresses everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, back going to the junior pheasant hunt, I just want to thank all the sponsors that we had that helped make it happen, and all the volunteers and Fish and Wildlife for their part. It was a really good success this year for all the students. Everybody had fun. I mean, all the junior hunters. And it was really great. When I was there was an individual there, Helen, I don't know if you know who he was. He was taking pictures of the whole event. And
He did. It's from Foggy, what is the clothing company? Foggy, what's it called? Here.
Fog Bank?
Fog Bank.
Bank.
There we are.
He mentioned something about creating maybe a website or something for that for people to see.
We're
Do you know
going
if
to-
has he done that yet?
Yeah, that's on the horizon, and there's a couple other things that we'll probably do through our Grange 501
Okay,
as well with that, to give recognition to the sponsors like McDonald's that brought the lunch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then Rocky Mountain, they brought the porta potty.
Yeah.
Garrett Scott bought their new vehicle out there. And then Enos, I forget his first name here. He said the Rocky Mountain Elk is already committed to helping sponsor that. And what we want to do, we want to get some kind of a poster, like community service that goes on. Well, a lot of it is with the Grange, but like the elk share hunts and photographs of people doing that, photographs of the kids, like in the youth fair program, pictures of the pheasant hunt, like that. And anybody that sponsors it, frame it up and give it to them.
yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I was just asking because I had one of the sponsors asked if there was somewhere they can see where their sponsorship
Yeah.
was going and stuff. And I didn't know if there was the website was created or not yet, or a Facebook page or anything regarding that. So that was
That's
my
on the
question.
horizon.
Perfect.
Oh,
Looking forward to that.
By the way, Jeff just responded to him. I sent him a picture of the gauge level. He says it's sanded in, and he's already contacted the state about fixing it.
Who's this?
Jeff Reed was.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah, so he's on, because we figured that the gauge was, sanded in or something.
Yeah. You can go down the end of Lakeview too and look at.
Well,
there's-
that's what I do.
There's a gauge, but the Friends of Del Norte accused me of going down there and hitting it with a sledgehammer and driving it down lower.
Which one? There's two gauges. There's one further down that you just got to know where it is.
I had two sledgehammers, I guess.
Oh, okay, good. So anything on the Fred Haight Drive ramp? Rob usually had that stuff.
There's nothing gone on there, it's full of big holes.
Still a mud hole, yeah.
Hi, Annie again. I was at the last meeting asking about the launch ramp, and Jackie was excellent and provided me the contact at the state for it. The state didn't have funds, but they were going to try to gravel in those holes until the grant came about. That grant opened up, and I believe it may have just closed or is about to close. Anyways, they will apply for their own grant to hopefully get awarded the grant to repair the launch ramp parking lot. So that's where it's at now.
It looks like it's going to be very busy this year.
There were 4 boats parked down there. I checked on it coming here just to see if they put gravel in. There's still no gravel, but the state is working on finding funds to repair it, and it is very busy down there right now.
Okay. I don't think we have any correspondence. No reports from commissioners. Anything else? Anything else? No, they don't.
Gave my phone to the game warden. Here, find the regulations. Find them. So, good as that.
Which game warden was it? Was it the
Guy and a
harbor
gal-
guy?
Guy and a gal together.
Oh,
Crap.
a warden?
The gals training.
Oh, I was going
Yeah,
to say,
he was
yeah,
the one
because
after
we don't
that
have
poor
a.
guy. Just give him a warning, let him go,
Oh,
Guy that was with her, one that was on my phone for 25 minutes.
What did he look like?
Young. He just young.
Beard?
Beard. I've talked to 3 different game wardens down there, picking on, like,
Just gotta Google it.
Yeah.
well, my understanding is that halibut are still open.
That what?
We have not met the quota for halibut, sport fishing. And so that you can still go out and fish for halibut. They're not going to bite, they're not there, but that's okay. You can still fish for them.
Pacific or California.
Pacific. Yeah, California, I think, doesn't close, does it?
I found out it's only
Uh-oh. Well, if there's nothing more, We get a motion?
Good meeting.
I second.
Everybody? Hey, good? Thank you. Looks like December 8th.
You can just ask it, and it'll